Hi, my name is Michelle Archer. I'm a mind-body clinician, a yoga therapist, and a somatic practitioner. And I'm here to lead you in a practice looking at body tension. So, for this practice, I'm using a yoga mat, but you don't necessarily need to do that. You could do this laying down anywhere, but we do need a little space for you to be able to lay flat. Once you have your space, let's talk a little bit about body tension. So, body tension is something that happens in response to stress. It's also something that shows the brain that you're in a threat state, that you're in a stress state. And so, if we think about bottom up approaches to changing our state closer to safety, and bottom up being what could we do with your body in order to make your brain know you're safe, changing body tension can be a big part of that. Now, one of the things I hear from some of my clients is they don't know how to let go of tension, or they don't even recognize when they're in tension. And so part of this practice is to build awareness of what that's like and what it's like when it shifts. And then also to give you some experience with how you might practice with letting go of tension in your body. The more you get to know it, the more you'll catch things like I do when I'm, let's say, working at my desk all day and I notice, like, why is my head so forward and my neck's tight? This is a really classic thing I do. So again, the purpose of this practice is to build awareness as that foundation, right? Like we have to really even notice this is going on in order to change it. And then to start to explore what that change is like so that you can move closer to more ease in your body. And then we have more evidence to give your brain that you're actually okay. So what we're going to do for this practice is I'm going to lay down. I'm going to lay down flat on my mat with my knees bent and my feet on the floor. And for this first practice, I'll invite you to bring your feet right underneath your knees. And you might adjust your hips or your shoulders to get comfortable. For some of you, you might like to have a pillow under your head, so please adjust in any way you need to. I'm going to bring my arms down to my sides and let them rest on the mat. And for starters, I'm going to have you start to march. So marching, you're just going to lift one foot off the floor and then the other. And you can let this be whatever pace you'd like to. Doesn't have to be my pace. So just start to get a sense for this movement. And then the next time your right leg comes up and your right foot's off the floor, I'll just have you pause there. And start to slowly bring your right foot down to the floor, but don't let it touch the floor. And if you're really new to noticing your body, it might help to close your eyes here. You might just like to close your eyes as well. But as your foot comes close to a hover, I want you to notice the effort. And where do you notice it? So as an example, I notice some effort in my left foot, like I'm pushing through my left leg. I notice some effort across my belly, and I feel my quad activating here. So I can feel that work. And a lot of it, I really notice my core. And so just take a moment to notice that effort. Remember, we're not judging anything as good or bad. If you ever need a break before I give it, please take it. Don't wait for me to change your state. And whenever you're ready, then, with your next exhale, I'll have you just drop your foot back to the floor. And notice what shifts. Notice what feels different. Notice the release. And get a sense for this state of less effort, less tension in the body. And then we'll do it again. Start with the marching. And again, it can be any pace. You might say, I want to only do like 3 marches. I don't want to do 10 marches like she's doing. And that's totally fine. You might want to do 30 marches. This is your practice. This is an exploration, remember. So there's no way to do it wrong. But the next time your left knee's up, I'll just have you hover it. And so pause there. And you'll start to slowly bring that left foot towards the floor without letting it touch. So that left foot will be just barely hovering over the floor. And notice again where the effort is. Now, again, you might notice those same places as last time, or it might feel different. You might notice, like, oh, I'm kind of clenching up my hands, I'm gripping the floor, or I'm clenching my jaw. And so, again, none of this is bad. We're not judging this as right or wrong. We're just getting curious about what effort and tension feels like in your body. And you probably know what's next, but on an exhale, we're going to let the foot come down. That could be whenever you're ready. So, exhale leaves the body and let the foot come to rest. And notice the shift. Notice what feels different right as the foot comes to that support. And get to know what this feels like. Where did you notice the shift most? How does this feel different than effort? How does this feel different than tension? And then we're going to do it one more time on each side. So we'll start with that marching. We'll maybe just do a couple marches. Pause the next time the right foot's off the ground. Start to slowly bring it down. Get to know the sense of effort, the feeling in your body of that effort, that tension. Hover the foot. And when you exhale next, let it go. And notice the shift. And one more time on the left, marching. Next time the left foot's up in the air, pause. Start to slowly bring it down. Notice the building of effort and some tension in your body to hold your foot just above the mat or the floor, the surface underneath you. Get a sense for what that's like. And then pay attention here as you exhale, let go. Notice the shift. Great. So now that you've got a sense for that, I'll invite you here to walk your feet wide and just let your knees knock knee in. This is another way to allow some relaxation to come into the lower body. And we're going to shift gears and we're going to start to explore this in the upper body. So you're going to reach your hands up towards the ceiling and you're going to turn your palms towards the space above your head. So the backs of your hands will face towards your feet and the palms will face up overhead. And remember, with all these movements, this is meant to be an exploration. We're not trying to make the movement look a certain way. So if any of these don't feel okay for you, you can explore it in some other way. You can get creative. You might take it a little slower or a little quicker than what I'm leading. So with your arms like this, I'm going to invite you this time to close your eyes. If you didn't last time, totally okay. But here, since you can see your arms a little bit more, I want you to let your eyes relax, close. And we're going to start to slowly bring your arms down towards your sides, really slow. Even as you go, start to notice how gravity exerts a little more force on you, the more your arms start to get parallel to the ground. So notice that increasing effort and tension. Now remember, I use the word effort just to help remind you that tension's not a bad thing. We're meant to move. We're meant to use our muscles. The trouble is when we get a little stuck there. So that's why we're trying to build awareness of both effort, tension, and release and ease. So we're continuing to come down. Same thing, we're going to bring the arms to hover over the floor. So not letting them hit the floor, but just hovering over the floor. And what does the effort feel like? There's some tension here to hold you in this posture. Where do you notice it? What's it like? And for me, even I noticed I started to tense up in my legs again, right? So it might not even be with the arms, hands, chest, shoulders. It might be somewhere else. And so we're just getting curious about what effort feels like. And then when you exhale next, you're going to let your arms drop to the floor and notice that shift. Notice the places that release and what it's like to move from that effort and tension to a little bit more ease and release. And I'll encourage you here to linger here for a moment because this is usually the part we don't know as well. We're good at effort. We might not be as good at or as aware of or in relationship with ease. And so we'll try it again. We don't have to bring the arms all the way up, but I'll just have you bring your arms off the mat. So they might even feel kind of like they're parallel to the floor still or whatever surface is underneath you. And notice right away what lights up, like what's working here? What has effort? Where is the tension? And as a little extra credit, if you want to try it out, see if you can let go of tension where it's not needed. So, again, for me, for some reason, I tense up around my pelvis and my thighs. So, I'm trying to let them go. And then come back to awareness of this effort you're doing in your arms and shoulders and maybe chest or core. And with your next exhale, you're going to just completely let it go and let them fall to the ground. And notice the shift. Notice what this is like. And we'll stay for a few more breaths or a few more moments. And then when you're ready, we'll come back up to a seat, or you can come out of the practice in any way you'd like. So that's an exploration of tension and release. And remember, the reason we're getting curious about it is this is a very normal response to stressors. What can happen is we get a little stuck there and we actually start to lose awareness of what's going on in our bodies. And all the while, what's happening in our bodies with tension is telling the brain something, right? So the more we're in tension, it's telling the brain, things might not be okay. And so when we're working with healing from a mind body perspective, bringing attention to the body and finding ways to get more connected with ease can be a really powerful way to give your brain messages of safety, give your brain evidence that you're okay. So happy exploring. Great to be with you. And if you like what we practiced today, you can find me in other Curable Live events or other content on the app.